Sasol simply went too far with this specific scheme. They went beyond any boundaries of fairness. The fact is that one can't justify the exclusion of a specific group in total simply because of their race. If you look in the past, they had an empowerment scheme, an employee empowerment scheme in Sasol, and in Sasol was inclusive. This new scheme suddenly is exclusive. That actually means and sends out a message to their white workers that in the past you were included in Sasol and the future is a future of exclusion. So the fact of the matter here is the absolute exclusion. The fact is that if you look at transformation in South Africa, it does not trump all rights. There's still rights like fairness and equity and those kind of rights within the parameters of the constitutions, and whites are still within those parameters. And if you look at the rest of the industry, for example, the mining industry, all the share schemes are inclusive of all races. And the reason for that is very simple. The majority of workers on those levels are still black, so it's still black empowerment. But if you include, you does not create racial tension, and you align your workers to the strategic outcome of the company. And Sasol decided to not to do that. And I will not be surprised if the new mining charter also will determine that all races must be included in share schemes. That's the absolute rule. And for some reason, Sasol decided no, they want a race-exclusive employee scheme.
Dirk, one of the things that Sasol has said in terms of the response to the announcement for your strike action, which we'll get to in a moment, is that Khanyisa is not a company benefit or compensation scheme, but rather that it's been put in place to address the ownership component of broad-based BEE codes. The fact is, a big element scheme is an employee share ownership scheme. It's not the only element, but that's an important element. So if we take out that specific element, then we must say that that element must be included of all workers. That argument can't be used to exclude a specific segment of your workers. We've looked at the percentages, and the fact is if you've included the white workers within the scheme, like they did in the past, it would not actually detriment affect their share ownership. The problem here is Sasol, and this argument actually shows that, big argument is we want empowerment points. So this is all about the technical empowerment points and not really about the empowerment of workers. The fact of the matter is, in 10 years' time only, this specific scheme will vent. And in 10 years' time, there's a big chance that the black workers will also not get anything if it went and if it goes underwater like the previous scheme. And then Sasol will have its for 10 years, the whites will be excluded and the black workers would have been misused in this specific scheme. It's a lose situation for the workers and a win-win for Sasol at this stage. Let's talk about the threat to down tools from Solidarity's side. That will be historic. That's the first time that we received a certificate from the CCMA that one can go on strike for race exclusion. So that's historic. We will now go on in July. We will have a striking ballot at Sasol, and the chances are quite good that we will have a positive ballot. And that will be a historic one. But our call will be on all South Africans, black and white, all across South Africa, to support this specific Sasol workers, because the fact of the matter is it's an injustice, and that's an injustice that none in South Africa must accept. All right, thanks for coming on to Newsnight. Solidarity's Dirk Herman.